Hi, Sag. This is your January 2019 General Tarotscope reading. We'll cover anything that comes up, but if it is too much of one thing or another, I'll draw cards to clarify, and by that I mean if it's too career focused, we'll draw some cards for love, and if it's too love focused, we'll draw some cards for career, if they would like to come through, of course. I will be offering private readings at $30 a month this month, and information on how to get those are in the description box. I'm also available on instantgo, so you can definitely take a look at that there as well if you would like something a little bit faster / shorter. I'm doing this in two formats. I have a general spread in the beginning, and then I have a spread after that kind of will break the month down on a week by week to kind of see a flow of the energies for the month. So let's get started. If it resonates, wonderful. Leave a comment. Let me know how that's going. And then if it does not, check your sun, rising, and moon signs as well. These are general readings. I'd love to be able to resonate with everybody, but I don't know that I will be able to do that. That's also kind of why I do two spreads. So let's see here. What? Everyone's like getting the same cards. Okay, so where we are now, we have the Three of Pentacles. So this is your energy in general that we're embodying at this time. So where we are emotionally, we have the Seven of Swords. So there may be something that you are trying to get away from. Maybe there was a third party situation and you're trying to not get caught. Or, maybe you're at the beginning of something and you're not sure, how much of it you actually want to take, kind of like taking things with a grain of salt. So mentally where we are the High Priestess. We are looking within. We're spending some time on introspection, making sure that, hold on. Introspection, making sure that we are on the right path. There may be secrets, or there's like a hidden something that you know of, and maybe you're trying not to divulge, right? Where we were in the past was Two of Swords, perhaps confused about something, not so sure where something was going. Needless to say, this situation probably didn't need all the energy that it got, and you are moving past that. You're definitely spending time to ground yourself, which makes sense. We are starting January with Capricorn season, so you're working on your craft. Perhaps you are starting something new, a new project, a new business, your coaching business, whichever, writing even projects. So anything like that where you have your nose to the grindstone, which nose to the stone, we're just going to go with that. And you're developing and getting better and growing, right? So this is where you are right now. What we have going on in the future, or in the near future at least, is perhaps you were expecting something, but it's taking a little bit longer than you had hoped. And so you're forced to wait, right? There's a little bit of stagnation. It's like, okay, it's like, what now? What next? Maybe, you started like a blog and you need followers and they're just not coming. You just need to give it some time, okay? So let's get some clarifiers here. Love it. Love it. Love it. Oh my gosh. Sagittarius, you are going to have such a bomb month of manifestation. Look at this. You've got the High Priestess and then you have the Magician. So this is, let me figure it out. Now let me create it, right? Like this is happening at the same time. So it's not so much where it's like one comes from the other. This is happening at the exact same time. So while you're figuring it out, you're creating, and while you're creating, you're figuring it out, right? So it's one of those things like you have the talent, do it. The only reason that you won't have the talent is if you don't do it. And that's so important, Sagittarius. I feel like this has been a theme. So definitely just focus on the doing and the being. In terms of where we are now, like, yes, this is where we are. We're working on our craft, but we're getting closer to something or moving away from something. Perhaps there might be a communication that you're getting over, a message that you received, or you're waiting to give a message. This is always a great card. It means we're almost there. Okay, so whatever you're working on, keep working. You're doing great. This stagnation that we talked about, we did clarify with the Ace of Swords. So perhaps the only thing that is missing from here is asking. Perhaps you need to ask for something. Let's say you need help, or you're waiting for someone to tell you how they feel about you, right? You're not going to know unless you ask for it. You don't ask, you don't get, right? So don't be afraid of this. It's totally fine. Towards the middle of January, we're going to be switching over to Aquarius season. And so air signs are really intellectual. They're really big on words. So why don't you use it to your favor, right? So explore why, first of all, why we may be experiencing this stagnation and lack of movement, and then get comfortable with your words. Use this time to figure out what you're going to say and then say it, right? Emotionally, we have the Seven of Swords, but then we also have the King of Wands. So we may be working with another fire sign, or this may be how you feel, right? So perhaps there was something that you had going on, a certain way of being, and you're like, this isn't going to work for me anymore. I have to move on. I'm going to take what I can and go be this guy, right? Like, he's someone that's very sure of himself. He's very confident. He can sometimes be borderline cocky. So if you decide to be this way, excellent. By all means, more power to you. So this is where you are emotionally, though. So keep that in mind. You feel very strong, very sure of yourself. There isn't any kind of heartbreak here. A lot of what I'm seeing, though, is maybe a frustration of, like, I want this now, right? What that may be, I'm not quite sure. It's more so like I want to say it's a project. Many signs are focusing on their money, things that are tangible at this time. But like I said, it makes sense. We're in Capricorn season, and that's Capricorn's an earth sign. I drew this card as an additional clarifier in general, and I think every single sign has gotten this card. This Seven of Wands, and the seven is like finding the truth. Libra we may be dealing with the Libra, but this can hurt some feelings. All right, but it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter if it hurts feelings, because you have success waiting for you. Okay, there's going to be movement towards this fire, which is you, right? You're a Sag. So whatever the project that you have right now is going to be successful. And that's where your mind is at. Like, this, you feel this, and so that's what you're going to be working towards. Let's see what else I have here. Gotta keep dropping these. Lots of messages. Are you jumpy this month, Sag? Excitable ball of energy. I have Sag Moon. I know that all too well. Okay, now we're going to break down the month. I mean, that was a good general. Like, if that's how you're feeling right now when you're watching this video, whatever time in January it is, like, you're in the beginning of some really fantastic, intense manifestations for the year of 2019. So if you've got a project and you're working on it, you just have to keep working on it, and you will be completely fine. Any worry that might come from it doesn't exist. Right? Like, I don't have any kind of concern over your project, nothing like a failure later down the line, or you're going to leave it, perhaps it's not something that you wanted to do. I don't see that at all. Now, if you're embarking on a new relationship, I can definitely see the hesitation and not wanting to move forward with that. But if you do via the communication, then, by all means, right? So, mentally, we've got the Chariot. That is where we are in our heads. The month of January. Emotionally, we are the Knight of Wands again. Wonderful. We've got the Magician the first week. What are these same cards? Three of Pentacles, Queen of Cups, Ten of Swords, and then Eight of Cups. Okay. Oh. Okay. So, Sag, you could be either working with dealing with a Virgo or a Gemini the first week, or this is the beginning of your new endeavor. This is a magician. He is able to manifest. Stop. I'm dog sitting. So this is where you're manifesting. You're really working on creating this new thing for yourself. You're very passionate about this. So it could be a person that you're passionate about, or it's this project, right? And I think most of your attention, honestly, you might be split up into two, because the second week, we've got the Three of Pentacles, which is where we were in the general reading that we just did, right? Working on your craft. Head down, extra hours, that kind of thing, right? Like you're really pushing to develop this skill or the project. Then the third week, we've got the Queen of Cups. So it could be a water sign that you're dealing with, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. Yeah, so let's backtrack a little bit. In the Ace of Swords that we saw, I'm stumbling on my words. So there may be something you're trying to say, but you're not quite sure how to say it. Definitely write it down and then, figure out a way to execute, because I don't normally stutter like that or, mess up my words. So keep that into consideration, or keep that in mind. So the third week, we've got the Queen of Cups. So this could be an offer. This could be you feeling really, really good about the work that you're putting in. Could be getting you some good news, since mentally we have the Chariot, which is balance and messages, right? Balance in terms of both horses, they're going in opposite directions and the guy needs to go forward. So that's kind of like, right and wrong, good and evil, whichever, left and right. So just finding the balance between perhaps a hobby and your regular 9 to 5. Relationship and work, right? Because you can be in a relationship with your job, and so you don't always know if you can have the balance, and the answer is you can, right? Come the fourth week, you hear a message or something where you are really unhappy. And we'll draw clarifiers for this. There's some kind of separation or thing that you're walking away from. We've got the Eight of Cups here. This is a regrettable but necessary decision, and it's for your own emotional well-being, okay? Emotionally, we're fine, though. So all of this is good. Like, you're a trooper. This is kind of the vibe of, shit happens. And I just got to keep going. I just got to keep doing me. This is the vibe I'm getting here. And so it's like you're juggling a little bit. I think the only card missing here is like Two of Pentacles at that point in terms of balance. So, I think we're doing good. So let's pull some clarifiers here. I'm going to do clarifier on Queen of Cups, Ten of Swords, Justice, and the Queen of Swords. Okay. Towards the middle of the month, you may be expecting a relationship or moving forward in a relationship. Telling someone how you feel, perhaps. Oh my gosh. Spending time with someone. You could be dealing with a Taurus. Or a water sign with earth placements, vice versa as well. That's kind of what I'm getting here. So that's kind of like the big event that happens the third week. But, oh my god. No, stop. The second week, or not the second week, the fourth week, although now that I said that, it may have, the second and the fourth week may be correlated. Perhaps there's something that doesn't pan out in your project or craft that you're doing this month. And what you need to do at that point is to balance things out and look at the scale. So I see balance again, and this is also for Libra, so you may be dealing with Libra. But with this one, the Chariot being at the forefront of your mind, and then this one, or the Justice card, being the major arcana here for your fourth week, it's almost like edit your draft. Yeah, that's what I'm getting. Edit your draft. So let's say you have this business plan of launching, say you're a blogger, or you wanna have one of those like Instagram lifestyle blogs or something. You may have missed something. Perhaps you needed to have come up with a theme. Perhaps you needed to have come up with colors. Perhaps you needed to buy equipment. It could be something as small as that, or it could be something huge, such as a clause in a contract. Okay, so in this process of you starting and working on it and executing this project, you're going to have to go back. It's a communication, but you're perceptive to it, and you see it and you hear it, and you're like, okay, I understand, and then you maneuver to be able to get to this Eight of Cups, but it's followed by the Queen of Swords. So what I'm seeing is the project continues just a little bit differently, right? So let's say, let's continue with this Instagram blog example. I start and I'm really big on like the food thing, but everyone's doing a foodie blog, and then I lose 50% of my followers because for whatever post, right? I might have realized that I'm not actually passionate about food, even though I really wanted to do food. And instead, I'm going to do, there is actually an Instagram page that only does Bloody Marys. So you could do like a mac and cheese only blog, right? If that's what you wanted. You could do, it's like one of those things like, okay, I just got to move things around a little bit. I have to reshape. It's not so much that you have to let it go. It's just there's a shift that needs to happen at that point. You're going to be fine though. Don't worry. Like some of these disappointments, like, yeah, it's like in the moment, it sucks. But at the same time, it's like you are constantly being geared to where it is that you need to end up at all times. There isn't a mistake. So if you're going through this and you missed one thing at the very beginning of the process, you're going to go through things that make you go back to it so that you learn, okay, you have to be more detailed. You have to go through this and revise again and get a second opinion or 4 or 5 or 7 so that you can go through this seamlessly, right? Because you're not trying to just like have some kind of mediocre project. That's your brand. So I kind of feel like this took a turn and is not so emotional really at all. And it's more so like a marketing, personal branding, things like that. Although a relationship is in the middle of the month, do you decide to leave the relationship and pursue your project? You might. There may be travel for you as well. Right now I'm kind of feeling like, what do I do? Because I don't feel like I can have both. So you may be feeling that way this month. The good news is that you can have as much as you want. So this doesn't necessarily have to be a permanent solution or situation for you. This middle of the month thing changes things for you. It really does, because we go from the High Priestess to Justice. And that like the major arcana follows each other, right? From one week to the next. So the 3rd and the 4th week are really big this month for you. But then you're like, wait a minute. 10 of Swords. This is a disappointment. Enough that you walk away from something, but something you wanted for sure. So, okay, there's something that happens in the middle of the month where your approach at first is institutional in the sense that you're going off of what you already knew and what you think is best and what's been done for a long time. Then the shift goes to no, I just need to have balance and I want things to be fair. If this is one of those like internalized misogyny type thing where you're in a relationship and you can't develop yourself financially or professionally, you're gonna not have that mentality anymore. And that is something that can be with this combination here, because the Queen of Swords is intellectual, right? This is a person that sees exactly what she wants or he wants or they want and goes for it. Like they will cut through the bull, the bull, trying not to swear. And that's the only thing that they're gonna accept. Like you can go at this girl for sure, but she doesn't care. Now this is on top of the 8 of Cups, so it's like, all right, well, I got to leave that aside and just go for what I want. So there's the extreme situation where you need to leave a relationship to pursue your passions, or it's a notion that you could not have both, and you realize that you can. So you're sitting on your throne, ready to receive. You're beckoning it for you. You will have these manifestations. Okay? Wow, that's a lot. Also, there might be travel. I think I might have mentioned that already. Because you have the Two of Wands. Okay. Let's get some Doreen, Virtue, Romance, Angels cards out for you. I'll draw a few. See what love's looking like. Now I'm actually very curious because we felt a little bit like we couldn't have both. But I don't see why you can't have your cake and eat it too. Just saying. Oops. You've almost got the exact same cards as Aries. So there's a little bit of codependency here. And then it says, well, this one, addictions are affecting your romantic life. And then free yourself, it's time to take back control of your life. And then 3, there's not enough attraction or chemistry to keep this relationship going. Jeez, okay. So this may not resonate for all of them. I want to say this is specific. In order for someone to really feel fulfilled and go after what they're passionate about, they may have to take a break from the relationship. There may also be toxic patterns in a relationship that stop you from following those passions. You may also be in a relationship that's not ready. Not that it can't happen, it's just not ready. For now. Okay. So, I'm actually very curious. Like, I'd love to see who this resonated with. Let me know. Post in the comments. And if you would like a personal reading, I'm happy to do those as well. $30 for the month. I'm not sure if I will continue that for the next month, but definitely check those out. Yeah, if this doesn't resonate, check your sun, rising, and your moon. I will have all of those up. I'll see you guys next month.